Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a trying new makeup, which is one of my favorite videos to do, and I really haven't done one in at least a month or two, which is because all of the releases around the holiday were just kind of repackaged or value sets, holiday packaging. There wasn't a ton of new until really the beginning of this year. So I have a bunch of products. I have the new Dewy Serum from Tatcha, which I just got in. Also have this foundation. This is the new Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac. I'm really interested to try this. The shade they sent looks a little bit deep, but hopefully we can work with it. I have the Kosas concealer. They just did a expansion of shades, so I already know that I like this because I did purchase it myself, but then they just sent me new shades. I have the new Lawless Forget the Filler. This is their new line for smoothing and plumping lips. I actually put a little bit on. This is incredible. Lawless also released new lip liners. I haven't tried these. I want to demo them. I have the Professional Setting Spray, which I've been playing around with from Benefit. Also Buxom, they came out with a new kind of white Russian themed collection. So this is their highlighter, which I'm really most excited about. I also have this palette. Now this palette has eyeshadows and blushes. I'm just going to be using the blushes today just because this is the only like new blush I have. But for eyes, you guys voted on my Instagram for the Morphe 35S. This is their new Sweet Oasis palette, and it looks like it's kind of a pastel color story. So really light, kind of on trend for spring, honestly. And then along with that Buxom highlighter and palette, they do have the cult favorite cream white Russian lip gloss, but also a new lipstick. If it does work with what we're doing, we will try that. And then I have brushes from Laura Lee Los Angeles. So I just have a big bunch of products. I think I am gonna start on my eyes today, just because I don't know how that Urban Decay hydrating foundation is gonna work and I don't want it to transfer. But other than that, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. I do a ton of trying new makeup videos, Sephora hauls. I do high-end, I do drugstore, I kind of mix it up. So please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I went ahead and put a base on. I started my brows just because I have to do the line underneath. It's kind of like a pain in the ass. Brows are like the worst thing for me. I hate doing my brows. Like, I hate it. But when I don't do it, I always feel unfinished. So we're going to go in with this 35S palette from Morphe. This is the new one that I Love Sarah E or Karen was the face of, and she looked gorgeous as usual. Kind of looks like pastel, you know, I get it. Kind of the Oasis Paradise Spring vibes. So I will say that obviously you have some depth down here, but a lot of this palette is very, very light, which is kind of annoying. I don't know why they do that, like so many light colors. But I think I'm going to start off with the shade up here, which is called Saltwater Dip. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I'm going to use this through the crease and then just on the lid. It's very light, as you can see. I never know how much to zoom in my camera because sometimes I feel like I'm way too zoomed in, but when people don't zoom in, I'm like, I can't see what you're doing. So let me know if this is okay. Because sometimes I feel like I've really zoomed in almost too much. So I'm kind of using this all over. This is just kind of a transition to soften things that we blend on top. And I'm pulling it out a little bit. So sort of pulling it out here. But this is such a light color that it's just sort of a base. Okay, so to add some depth, I'm gonna go into Sail Away. So this one's just a little bit punchier or has a little bit more depth than the one we just used. So I'm kind of placing it down here. And then I'm gonna use that first brush to blend out. What are you guys' thoughts on Morphe? I feel like Morphe's kind of fading away. It's kind of like they had their big time, and I feel like, especially with like, what was it, the 35O and just the whole Jaclyn Hill, and I don't know, now I feel like they've kind of lost their way a little bit. I still feel like they have, you know, good products for good pricing. Like their setting spray, their lip liners are incredible. Their eyeshadows are good for the price because you do get a lot of colors. I mean, I don't really have issues with their eyeshadows typically, but I feel like ColourPop has kind of jumped in and just released more at a good price with good quality. So I feel like Morphe, I don't know. So that shade's a little bit, well, it's okay. It's a little bit kind of dusting away. We need to go in with a deeper one. So I'm actually going to go in with this really deep one called Hidden Cove and hope that we can kind of amp this up. So for this, I'm kind of going to take it down like on the outer corner of my eye and then blend sort of into that crease area. Just using kind of like a pointy pencil brush. So I'm just kind of building up here. And again, because I have my base not done yet, we can fix it if something goes a little crazy. So now I'm going in with that first brush to really blend out any edges. So just kind of building and then going over to soften. And again, I'm pulling this out pretty far, and I'm even gonna pull this in. All right, so we're looking crazy, but I cleaned up underneath. Again, we're not done yet. Once we do foundation and everything, it should come together. I think I'm gonna go into Coastline Cruise right here for the lid. So I might actually mix in a little bit of Island Hop so it's lighter here, and I'm just going to apply this right here, just for sort of like a little bit of a shimmer effect. This is dry, by the way. So just to kind of tie it all in. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the base. I know that I look wild right now, but trust the process. So I wanna go in with this new Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. This is brand new. I love no, I said that wrong. Tatcha Dewy Serum. So I love the Dewy Skin Cream, but this is in serum form. This is what it looks like. I wonder if it has the same scent. I think so. So I'm gonna use this. Ooh, it feels really nice. As a base, feels really nice. So essentially it's like a skincare product. You can use it morning and night, but let's hope that it plays well under makeup. It feels really nice, very thin, but super hydrating. So I wanna go in next with a pore smoothing primer. So I've been loving the Hailey's Beauty and the Lancome. Today I'm gonna throw it back to the Tarte Timeless. I still love this. This is top drawer as well. Just to change it up, because I feel like I've been using the other ones a lot. The one thing I don't like about this one is like getting your fingers in there to get the product out. It's not my favorite because it gets stuck on my nail or under my nails. But this really does smooth the skin. All right, so for foundation, we're gonna use this new one that Urban Decay sent over. This is the Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. It says medium coverage up to 24 hours in wear. The only thing is they sent me light medium, and this looks quite dark. Like I have a brand new fresh self tan on, and I'm a little worried it's gonna be dark, but it's a long wearing foundation infused with kombucha, filtrate, and marula oil for 30% more hydrated skin, medium coverage, glowing finish. Little bit nervous because that means it's not gonna hang on, but let's go ahead and squeeze this out. Okay, it's very thick. You can see right there. It's gonna be a little dark, I think. And it comes in a squeezy tube, which it's not like my favorite, but I don't mind it. So I'm gonna use this Laura Los Angeles L11 brush. I forgot to use them on my eyes. Like, good job, Babs. This just looks so dark, right? Ooh, this is light medium and it's thick. Wow, okay. We're gonna have to use concealer to lighten things up. To me, this looks like medium tan. I feel that this is one of those instances on my channel where I look absolutely batshit. I look like I got peanut butter on my face, me eye makeup, my brows aren't done. It's a whole thing. We're gonna have to really pull this down, which I figured, but they only sent me one shade. I do agree with the medium coverage. I would say the light medium buildable. All right, so I applied the rest of the foundation, and I have to say, I don't think this is gonna be for me. First of all, the shade is way too dark. For a light medium, to me, this is like an NC35, maybe even deeper. So to me, this would be a medium, borderline medium tan. The overall finish of it looks nice and dewy, but it's very thick. I had to apply a lot because it's medium coverage, and I think maybe because of the shade. I mean, I had to apply a lot to get an even color, and the color's not right. So I'm assuming the color not being right is really kind of swaying my opinion even worse, because obviously I feel like I look crazy. Hopefully once I put on concealer, we can kind of bring it together, and I can use maybe a lighter powder to really lighten things up. But I'm gonna go in with concealer now. This is the shade 3 in the new Kosas concealer. Well, it's not new, but they did an expansion of shades. So I really like this concealer. I bought this concealer when it first released, or a while ago, but I bought the shade I think 01, which is super light. And the problem that they had with these is they were all very yellow toned. So they did a shade expansion, which is nice, but it's very creamy. I look crazy in this video. Wow. It's very creamy and it's good medium coverage. If you have dry skin or dry under eyes, I think it would be a good option. So I'm really hoping this is going to just lighten things up for me, because I usually don't do concealer, you know, on my forehead or chin unless I really need to kind of lighten things up. So I'm gonna kind of pull this all around just to kind of settle that. I can't believe that's a light medium. It definitely is not, in my opinion. But I don't know if you can see just how hydrating it is. It really is. Of course, that Urban Decay underneath is gonna make it even more glowy. But yeah, it's nice and hydrating with a good coverage. And I do believe this shade is a better match for me, because the other one I have is almost, it's very fair. So this is what we're looking like. I feel like the concealer did help a little bit, but we're still looking quite deep. Once we set it, I feel like things will calm down. I'm gonna use the translucent one size. I really like this. The only thing I don't like is the component, like trying to get the product out, because I do have the mini size. So I just go ahead and tap it into another cap from another powder. And I'm really gonna use this to bake and try to lighten things up as well. So I'm really going to press this in. The thing about this powder is it's so finely milled. What the fucking fuck is that? Okay, that was weird. What I was saying is it's so finely milled, it's almost hard to bake with this because it just sort of settles into your skin, which gives you that really smooth, flawless look. So I'm taking quite a bit and I'm just really pressing into, is this shedding? What is going on here? Pressing into, oh my fucking God. I have to say it looks quite smooth, which, you know, powder does that for me. I'm a powder fanatic. So it is setting beautifully. I will say it looks way better now that I've set it on my skin personally. All right, so I did my bronzer and my contour because I don't have a new one, and I curled my lashes. I want to use this Ilia mascara. This is their Limitless Lash Mascara. I actually got this in a FabFitFun. I just did a video with them. I can link it in the cards. They had some really good products, and I chose this one because you can choose a lot from FabFitFun. So I went ahead and chose this mascara. It's interesting when you look at it, it has two different sides on the wand. So there's two separate sides on the wand, if you can tell. So for me, when I've used this, it's been a really lengthening mascara, and it's one of those that kind of pokes your eye, if that makes sense. Like it tickles a little bit because it's really grabbing onto the lashes, and then using the other side to really wiggle. So there you can see one coat, and it's not clumpy at all. If you hate clumpy and you like lengthening, this might be one to look into. So there is 2 coats. I'm not somebody that does like 75 coats, so 2 coats is about my max. So this is what it looks like. I feel like we could really omit lashes, but I think I am gonna add just like an outer strip. So these are Saucy Lashes Dirty Talk. They're one of my favorites. And I think I'm just gonna use like literally 1/3 of these lash to pop on the outer corner just to kind of elongate the eye. Okay, so I went ahead and did my lashes, and now I want to move on to the face. I have this new Buxom White Russian palette. So this is kind of like their collection. They came out with the lipstick, the highlighter, and this palette. Now the only thing is, I feel like, yeah, this would be great for one and done if you use just kind of neutral shades. But for me, I wish the blushes were separate just because I don't know. I don't typically like palettes that have like multiple things in them. Not that I don't like them, but it's not my preference. But also, like, if I just wanted the shadows and I didn't want the blushes, or vice versa. So I'm gonna go into the pinkier shade down here called Moscow. And I believe this is the same formula as the Wanderlust blushes, which are great quality. So they're very powdery. I'm applying it kind of higher up here. This brush feels nice. Of course, my dumbass forgot to use all of the brushes on my eyes. I feel like if you're a neutral blush person, you will love these. I like a little bit more oomph. I don't dislike this, but I like a little bit more like baby doll pink or orange or whatever. All right, so I really am excited to use the new Wanderlust Glow Highlighter in White Russian. I think this is their first highlighter in this formula. It's supposed to have a pinky shift to it, so when you swatch it, it kind of looks dull, But from what I've been seeing, people blend it out and it kind of has a pink hue. So I'm gonna use this brush from Lawless, which is the L15. So I'm gonna go ahead and start applying. It's a little bit powdery. It's pretty subtle. I'm kind of undecided on this just because I feel like I have pretty deep foundation on, and for some reason I just don't feel like it's brightening. It has that glow when you know, turn your head, but it's not brightening. A lot of the highlighters I like really give a bright look. I had a really bad like acne, cystic acne over here, and I feel like ever since then it's like patchy no matter what I do. So that's fun. I'm actually gonna go into my Dior palette and mix the pink with the light color just to intensify. So immediately, you see how that's like, bam. That's what I look for. And then I think I am gonna take a little bit of the pink in here and the lightest shade and just apply it to my inner corner, mostly that white shade, I guess. This is one of my most used palettes of all time. All right, so now I wanna move on to lips. So Lawless came out with these new ultra pigmented smooth glide lip liners. They're in a pencil form, but they're incredibly creamy. I was expecting kind of like a MAC feel, and they're not that. They're very creamy. So it's a little bit interesting. Like I feel like if you have dry lips or you like a creamy formula that you can fill your whole lip in, I could just tell that these are that way. So this is Pink Sand, which I feel like we might go with today. So next up is Honey Rose. If you want a deep lip liner, I think you would like these because they're all pretty deep. Then we have a really deep chocolatey brown called Cocoa. And then we have more of a red color called Burnished. But it's, again, they're very deep and rich except for the first pink one. So I'm actually going to try the Honey Rose just because I really want that depth because I know the lipstick is really light. So they're very, very pigmented and they glide. So that's what it looks like. I have to say it just glides so creamy and just soft. I feel like if you hate dry lip liners, this might be the ticket for you because they're not like ColourPop where I'm like slipping and I have no control, but they glide so easily. I want to touch on this as well. This is their plumping, forget the filler. This is incredible, but I think it's sold out everywhere. This feels incredible. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a minty cooling feeling. Sort of reminds me of the Too Faced lip balm that I love, but this is more of a gloss. I'm not going to use it today just because I'm going to use the Buxom stuff, but I wanted to mention this is incredible. I would use this over lipstick or just every day. It just feels really nice. So for lipstick, I'm going to go in with this pink. I hope it kind of balances out. This is the White Russian Full Force lipstick, and it's definitely a pinky shade. I had seen some other people saying it was more pink than they had imagined. I actually like pink. Now this formula is really creamy. Sort of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury formula that I love. The only thing I don't like is I actually don't like the applicator, how it's curved. I would prefer just like a typical bullet lipstick. It's not a huge deal, but I feel like I can kind of get outside of the lines a little bit. I'm just hoping this isn't going to be too pink. That's why I use the deeper lip liner, just because I feel like pink and blue, it's almost a little bit too colorful. I wiped that off because I feel like it's just a little bit too pink with what we have going on. I'm gonna go in with Tom Ford Sable Smoke. I feel like that matches a little bit better. And then to top that off, I am gonna go in with their lip cream in White Russian, which is an OG staple. Their lip glosses are really nice. All right, I'm gonna leave my lower lash line bare just because I really like to do this with the lighter lashes and the lifted eye look when I really bring it up. So the last thing we have to do is use the Professional Super Setter. This is a long-lasting makeup spray, and I've been using this from Benefit. So I just looked this up on Sephora, and I was surprised to see that this is alcohol-free. The Charlotte Tilbury, which is A1 perfect, you guys have all purchased it and loved it. It's like the best setting spray ever. It has alcohol in it. So does the All Nighter from Urban Decay. So seeing that this is alcohol-free, I'm kind of shocked because I do feel like this does prolong my makeup wear. Now I haven't tested it like against the Charlotte Tilbury. I kind of want to do one day where I just spray half my face with the Benefit and half with the Charlotte Tilbury, kind of comparing. But I will tell you that the mister on this is really fine. It's finer than the All Nighter, kind of more similar to the Cover FX, and it has a light fresh scent but nothing overpowering. So far I've been enjoying it. It doesn't beat my Charlotte Tilbury thus far, but again, I've just been kind of using it on days when I'm not filming and my makeup stays on. But again, I'm using, you know, my Hailey's Beauty or my Too Faced or my NARS, my go-to foundations. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I don't know if you can see how fine that is. It's very fine. It's very much like the Glow Recipe Watermelon. So I do like the mister, a really light, just like kind of herbal scent. All right, guys, here's my finished makeup look using all these new products. So first impressions, I have to say there's nothing that I hate. I didn't struggle with anything really, but there's some products that I prefer or I just don't see myself using. Starting off with the Tatcha Dewy Serum, this felt incredible. I really liked the way that it felt. It felt good under my makeup. I feel like it really hydrated, especially like my forehead that's really dry. I do like their dewy skin cream, so the fact that they have a dewy serum, I feel like this is gonna be a hit. Urban Decay, I'm kind of perplexed. First of all, the shade was too dark, so that really made it difficult for me to feel like it was looking good. Like there for a minute, I was looking a little bit scary. So I definitely need a lighter shade, light medium. To me, this is not a light medium. This is like a medium olive, medium tan. So if I did pick this up, I would have to go down to a light, or I don't even know if I'd have to go lighter than that, like a fair light. If you tried this, do you feel like the shades are dark? Because for me, I definitely feel that. But again, this is the only shade they sent. I have to say that I don't mind the way that it looks on the skin. It does look quite smooth. Now it's probably because of the powders that I use, but it really looks smooth. So it's growing on me. Now if it breaks up in an hour, then I'm gonna hate it. I will update down below how it wears. I did feel some kind of tingling and itching. I'm not feeling that now, so I'm not really sure what that was about. This has oils in it, marula oil and kombucha filtrate. So this is definitely a hydrating foundation. A lot of foundations are oil-free, so I'm kind of like, hopefully this doesn't break me out because it has an oil in it. But I will say when I first applied this, I was like, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But I actually liked it more when I built it up to a medium full coverage and I used a sponge. And then once I set it, it really smoothed out. So jury's out on this. This one was a little of a catfish. I really was like, ugh, like when I first applied it, I had thoughts of like, just take it off and use another foundation. But I was like, you know what? I just want to demo it. Let me see if I pull it down and if I put everything else on, if it will work. So we'll have to keep playing around with this one. I already knew that I liked the Kosas concealer, but I'm glad to have a shade that's a little bit more my speed. The one I had was 01, which is really light. This one is light enough, but it gives me kind of that brightness that I need without kind of washing me out or giving me those almost like a flashback really light color. But if you have kind of dry under eyes, I feel like you would really like this. I find this to be one of the more hydrating concealers that I own while still maintaining a medium coverage. In terms of the Morphe palette, I didn't have any issues blending it out. I did only use what, like 4 shades. But as I said, there's a lot of lighter shades. Like I feel like we could have done something a little bit different up here, but I do think like this section is really nice and pretty. There are some kind of gunmetal shades down here if you want to do more neutral, but for me what really stood out with those was the like turquoise blue, the aqua colors I used. Next I kind of want to play with the pinky ones in here, but I had no problems. It's a typical Morphe formula. For me, I don't have issues with Morphe shadows. They just blend fine. Like I didn't notice anything crazy. So I know a lot of people really don't like Morphe, but for me, like the shadows perform fine, especially for the price and all of them that you get. I have no issues working with them. Like I don't struggle. It's just kind of like a fun pastel color story, but not like an everyday palette for me. In terms of the Buxom White Russian collection, the blushes perform nicely. I just don't prefer these shades. I like something a little bit more oomphed, more bright. So those are a good formula, but I'm not like in love with the colors to the point where I'm gonna reach in that palette. I'm a little bit like about the highlighter just because I feel like it's a little bit almost like gray tone. There's something kind of weird about it that doesn't I don't know, it doesn't excite me, and I even added on the other Dior. For me, it's just okay. The formula is a little more subtle, but it's the color that really I'm not in love with. I do really like the lipstick formula, these Buxom Full Force lipsticks, so I like the color of this. It just didn't go with this look. I felt like I was a little too colorful, and I do like White Russian. In terms of the Lawless lip liners, they're so creamy and so pigmented, so I do like these. I do wish she would come out with a little bit more of like a beige or some lighter beige shades, but so far impressed with these, and I love Forget the Filler, but I think it's sold out right now. I'll try to link it if I can. The Ilia mascara is nice and lengthening. I feel like if you don't like clumpy, you might want to check this out because there's no clumping at all. You really can build this one. And in terms of the Professional Super Setter from Benefit, I was shocked to hear that this didn't have any alcohol in it. I feel like it is helping with my makeup, but again, I'm gonna have to do a test of comparing this to my Charlotte Tilbury and kind of see the differences. But so far, I like that the mist is really fine. It's alcohol free, and I do feel like it's been helping keep my makeup on, but again, I'll have to test it out to really let you guys know. So I will leave a pinned comment down below letting you guys know how that foundation wore, because right now I feel like it's wearing beautifully, and I'm like, is it going to break up? What's gonna happen? I'm a little bit just shocked because upon first impression, I was like, this is gonna slip, this is gonna cake, and it really hasn't yet. So that is everything for this trying new makeup. I will leave all these products linked down below. Let me know what you thought about the application. Anything surprised you? Anything standing out to you? Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you will subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.